Have you ever noticed that some people seem to attract opportunities, love, and prosperity effortlessly, while others try everything and remain stuck in the same place? Why does this happen? What's the secret behind this stark difference? You might think it's about working harder, repeating affirmations, or praying harder, but it's not like that at all. There's a hidden principle that most people never learn, and it's what determines whether you'll repeat the same results or finally change your life. And here's the paradox: the most prosperous people aren't those who try the hardest, they're those who have learned to align their inner energy with their desired life. That's why they seem to do less, but achieve so much more. If you want to manifest health, love, or money, stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to show you how to break the invisible blocks that are holding you back. And take advantage, like this video and subscribe now. Because only those with a creative mindset can do this. Only those who know that reality is shaped from the inside out can make this commitment to their own prosperity. Chapter 1: The Power of Inner Alignment. Have you ever tried to say out loud, "I am prosperous" or "I deserve love," and still nothing really changes? This is the shock of manifestation. People believe the universe responds to words, but the truth is that the quantum field doesn't read sentences, it reads vibrational states. If your mouth says one thing but your body vibrates fear, anxiety, or scarcity, the energy the field returns is exactly that. This is the silent block that almost no one notices. Consider Sarah, a 42-year-old from Austin. For years, she'd taped abundance quotes to her mirror and repeated affirmations every morning. But when she opened her banking app, her chest tightened. The vibration was of lack, and that's what she kept receiving. The turning point came when she decided to release the weight of internal pressure and be grateful for the small victories. This state of lightness brought not only an unexpected increase but also a newfound sense of peace with money. Sarah didn't shout prosperity, she became prosperity. Something similar happened to Michael, a 51-year-old from Chicago. He wanted health, but he was tired, anxious, and neglected his diet. His thoughts were saying, "I want vitality," but his body was transmitting the opposite. The change began with simple steps, short walks, conscious breathing, and better nights of sleep. Within a few months, he lost weight, stabilized his blood pressure, and regained energy. The secret wasn't wishing for health, but vibrating health. Lisa, 38, from Denver, was searching for true love, but always attracted frustrating relationships. She said she wanted connection, but carried within her insecurity and fear of rejection. It wasn't until she began looking at herself in the mirror and calmly affirming, "I am worthy of love now," that her frequency shifted. Soon, she stopped accepting crumbs and attracted a partner who reflected her new energy. Lisa didn't chase love, she became love. These examples reveal a clear truth. The universe doesn't react to what you ask for, but to who you are. Single words are powerless if they aren't accompanied by coherent emotions and actions. If your mind asks for abundance but your body vibrates with fear, the response will always be fear. This may seem harsh, but it's liberating. Because it means you have the power to change your reality by first shifting your internal frequency. It doesn't require years of effort or complicated rituals, it requires presence and alignment. Quick alignment practice: close your eyes for 60 seconds, inhale through your nose for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 6, relax your jaw, release your shoulders, feel your feet on the ground, think of the version of you that already lives what you desire, ask yourself what coherent gesture fits today, a call, a yes, a no, and then do just that with presence, without drama, without rushing. Consistency beats intensity. And here's the provocation: what have you been affirming with your mind but not yet sustaining in your body and emotions? The answer could be the first step in your transformation. And in the next chapter, we'll delve even deeper into the role of the subconscious, the hidden observer that, without you realizing it, decides which reality becomes visible. Chapter 2: The Hidden Watcher Within You. Have you ever noticed how, even after consciously deciding to change your life, it seems like something stronger pulls you back to old habits? It's as if there's an invisible force within us, guiding our choices without us even realizing it. This force exists, and it has a name: the subconscious. It's the true observer in the quantum game of manifestation. You can tell your mind that you're ready to thrive, but if the memories stored in your body say otherwise, that's what the field will mirror. And here's the surprising part: the subconscious governs about 95% of your daily actions, emotions, and thoughts. It's the one that collapses reality long before your rational mind enters the picture. Consider what happened to Daniel, a 47-year-old from Miami. He came from a family that repeated phrases like, "money is dirty," or "you have to suffer to be successful." As an adult, Daniel became a hard-working entrepreneur. He worked 10, 12 hours a day. But every time he closed a big deal, something went wrong. Clients would back out, partners would betray him, businesses would collapse. His mind said, "I want prosperity," but his subconscious held the belief that having money was dangerous. It was only when he began working on mental reprogramming techniques and releasing these memories that the results changed. Today, he still works hard, but without the burden of unconscious guilt, and the deals flow naturally. Something similar happened to Emma, a 54-year-old from Seattle. She was seeking to improve her health after years of living with chronic pain. She made daily affirmations about healing and vitality, but her subconscious was steeped in old experiences, memories of doctors telling her she would have to live with pain for the rest of her life. It was as if her entire body had already accepted the sentence. When Emma began practicing guided meditation to access different images of herself, something shifted. Gradually, her subconscious began to accept that it was possible to live without pain. Today, Emma reports that her crises have dramatically decreased, not because she mentally convinced herself, but because her body began to believe a new story. This is the point: the subconscious doesn't understand empty promises, but responds to images, emotions, and consistent repetitions. It's the subconscious that truly collapses the waves of possibility into concrete events. And this explains why so many people feel trapped in cycles of frustration. The mind says one thing, but the hidden observer vibrates another. The quantum field doesn't make mistakes, it responds precisely to the most coherent signal. Therefore, when your mind affirms abundance, but your subconscious still vibrates scarcity, the result will always be more scarcity. And here's the good news: the subconscious can be trained. It's not an enemy, just a guardian that needs to be retrained. Practices like sensory visualization, heart-mind coherence meditation, and even subtle changes in daily behavior work like new recordings on an old tape. Each time you teach your body that it's already possible to live in the desired state, you weaken the old programming and strengthen the new. Now think about it: how many times have you sabotaged yourself without realizing it? How many opportunities have you missed because something inside you whispered, "It won't work out"? That whisper is your subconscious making decisions for you. But in the next chapter, we'll reveal how to transform this inner guardian into a powerful ally, and when that happens, your life stops being a repetition of the past and begins to open up to completely new possibilities. Chapter 3: The Secret Language of the Heart. If the subconscious is the hidden observer that shapes your reality, the heart is the amplifier that sends the signal to the universe. Research shows that the heart's electromagnetic field is much stronger than the brain's. This means that your emotions have more creative power than your isolated thoughts. You can repeat 100 times that you believe in abundance, but if your heart vibrates with fear and doubt, that's the frequency the field will return. This is why so many people become frustrated: their minds are pointing one way and their hearts the opposite. James, 44, from Los Angeles, was a prime example. He studied finance, made plans, and recited phrases about prosperity. But when he talked about money, he felt a knot in his stomach and a tightening of his chest. It was the past speaking louder, memories of debt, bankruptcies, failures. What changed wasn't memorizing new phrases, but training the coherence between mind and heart. James began practicing conscious breathing. He inhaled for a count of 4, exhaled for a count of 6, and during this exercise, he recalled something real for which he felt gratitude. This simple practice changed the signal he emitted. With his heart at peace, his energy became clear, and opportunities began to flow. Soon, he was able to launch a thriving business without the anxiety he had before. The heart works like a radio station. If the signal is full of noise, the music doesn't come out clear. The universe reads this noise and returns more confusion. But when the heart and mind are in tune, the signal becomes stable, and the field's response arrives much faster. The universe doesn't speak English, Portuguese, or Spanish, it speaks the vibrational language of the heart. Olivia, 39, from Boston, discovered this too. She dreamed of a true relationship, but her heart was closed. She carried wounds from disappointment and vibrated with distrust. Even when she met interesting people, the energy she transmitted was defensive. It was only when she began to open up in small ways, smiling genuinely, thanking people for sincere friendships, allowing honest conversations without fear, that her heart shifted. Soon, she attracted someone compatible, not because she insisted, but because it finally became love in motion. The same goes for health. Emotions like resentment, bitterness, and sadness drain vital energy and wear down the body. Genuine gratitude, felt deeply, has the power to balance the nervous system and reduce stress. Just a few minutes of practice can change your internal state. This isn't magic, it's physiology and coherence. The heart sends a clear message to the field, I am already at peace. And the field returns experiences aligned with this peace. This is the true work of manifestation, aligning mind and heart. Positive thinking without emotion doesn't generate strength. Emotion without mental clarity generates chaos. But when thought, emotion, and body work together, you emit a magnetic signal so clear that reality cannot ignore it. It's not about excessive effort, but about vibrational coherence. Now, stop for a moment and ask yourself, what has your heart been emitting these past few days? Confidence or fear? Presence or anxiety? This answer says much more about the future you're creating than any notebook full of affirmations. And in the next chapter, we'll show you how small habits and daily choices reinforce this coherence or silently sabotage your energy, defining whether you attract abundance or remain stuck in scarcity. Chapter 4: Habits that Program Your Energy. Have you ever noticed how seemingly small choices repeat themselves until they shape your entire life? The universe doesn't respond to isolated gestures, it responds to the dominant frequency you sustain day after day. And this frequency is shaped by the habits you practice almost automatically. Your breathing when you're anxious, the type of thoughts that occupy your mind when you wake up, the emotions that guide your reactions, all of this functions as an energetic program. It's this repeated pattern that keeps you stuck in old cycles or makes room for a whole new reality. Mark, a 46-year-old from New York, discovered this firsthand. He used the law of attraction only in emergencies, he used affirmations when money was tight, and then quickly returned to living in stress. The field didn't just read a few minutes of positive phrases, it read the dominant state of worry he carried the rest of the time. The change began when he adopted a simple morning ritual. Before checking email, he wrote down 3 things he was grateful for. This habit, repeated daily, stabilized his vibration. A few months later, financial opportunities arose more naturally. It wasn't a miracle, it was energetic consistency. Julia, a 52-year-old from San Diego, experienced the opposite effect. She longed for health, but harbored resentment. She spent nights stewing over her hurts, which drained her vital energy. When she replaced this pattern with a nightly gratitude exercise listing 3 moments of lightness in her day, no matter how small, her body responded. She slept better, woke up feeling more energetic, and even her pains diminished. The habit didn't cure everything at once, but it reprogrammed her internal field to vibrate at a different frequency. The same thing happens in relationships. David, 40, from Atlanta, wanted true love, but he had a habit of criticizing himself in the mirror. Without realizing it, he was sending out a vibration of rejection into the universe. He decided to change and created a simple gesture. Every time he looked at himself, he would whisper, "I respect myself." This small habit altered the energy he transmitted. Soon, he began attracting people who treated him with the same respect he began giving himself. The quantum field doesn't respond to occasional intentions, it responds to the constant pattern. If your daily choices carry haste, fear, and self-criticism, that's the station you're tuned into. But if your habits echo gratitude, presence, and care, the field mirrors abundance, vitality, and healthy connections. Each micro-decision confirms to the universe who you are. Taking a deep breath before reacting, giving thanks for something simple, moving your body with respect, these small gestures teach the subconscious a new story. So reflect, what habits have supported the life you want? Which ones still reinforce the life you want to leave behind? This answer reveals a lot about why some dreams don't materialize. In the next chapter, we'll talk about invisible patterns of self-sabotage, those silent loops that insist on pulling you back whenever you try to move forward. Chapter 5: Breaking the Cycles of Self-Sabotage. Have you ever felt like you were one step closer to the next level, and then suddenly everything fell apart? As if an invisible force was pulling you back to the same place? This is self-sabotage, your subconscious trying to keep you in familiar territory. The effect repeats itself, you move forward and then quickly return to the old pattern. Ethan, 48, from Dallas, experienced this with his finances. He'd save up a good amount, then make a hasty decision and lose what he'd built. His inherited belief dictated, easy money is lost quickly. His subconscious confirmed this. The turning point came when he replaced his internal phrase with, well-managed money grows steadily. To sustain his new script, he adopted 2 micro-habits: wait 24 hours before making purchases, and write down pros and cons. Within a few months, the losses stopped, and his balance grew steadily. The same thing happens with health. Amanda, a 55-year-old from Houston, promised to take care of her body, but there was always a reason to postpone. The silent story went like this: in our family, everyone gains weight sooner or later. She tried a simple routine: 15 minutes of walking, more water, and getting enough sleep. The routine took hold, her body responded. Weight slowly dropped, pain subsided, energy returned. In relationships, the same logic repeats itself. Chris, 42, from Phoenix, said he wanted commitment, but he pulled away when the relationship got serious. Old memories whispered, closeness is dangerous. Instead of running away, he began to watch the trigger. He paused, he breathed, he chose a minimal gesture of openness, an honest message. The bond became stable because his energy stopped slamming on the brakes when affection approached. Self-sabotage is an internal economy. It saves immediate pain and exacts a heavy toll later. It's not rational, it's emotional. The mind can say I want, the body can respond I don't trust. The most coherent signal wins. That's why healing begins with awareness, noticing the moment the old script tries to take over. Name the pattern: here I sabotage myself by spending, here I keep quiet, here I run away. Naming takes away power, habit loses momentum. 3 keys help break the cycle. First, physiological pause. Exhale longer than you inhale, count 4 to inhale and 6 to exhale. Second, identity question. What would the version of me that already lives what I desire do? Choose the smallest coherent action and do it today. Third, environmental pact. Remove temptations from sight, leave reminders of who you are becoming: water in sight, sneakers ready. Don't fight the subconscious, re-educate. Be grateful for the ancient protection. Tell yourself, now we are safe on another level. Gentle repetition overcomes sporadic intensity. Small victories teach the body a new narrative: I can thrive without guilt, I can love without disappearing. Try it for 7 days. Choose an area: finances, health, relationships. Write down the most common trigger, decide on a micro-action, breathe before acting, follow through, record the victory. Repeat the cycle the next day. Consistency creates traction and corrects course with little effort. Reflect now: at what point do you usually return to the same place? What old phrase appears when life starts to move forward? It's too much for me, someone will take it away, I can't handle it. Write another phrase: I can handle growing, I can maintain, I learn quickly. Feel it in your body, walk like a believer. In the next chapter, we will consolidate vibrational identity. When it becomes clear, old patterns lose strength and life moves forward with less friction. Chapter 6: Becoming your future self now. If there's one point at which manifestation ceases to be theory and becomes reality, it's this: you don't attract what you desire, you attract who you already are. The vibrational identity you hold in the present determines which timeline collapses. It's as if each version of you already exists in potential, healthy or sick, prosperous or in debt, loved or lonely. What the field responds to is not your desire, but the version you embody today. Consider Lauren, a 41-year-old from Chicago. She wanted to be a recognized leader in her company, but her posture still felt small. She entered meetings unsure, spoke quietly, and withdrew around more experienced colleagues. When she began practicing a simple exercise, asking herself, how would Lauren act if she were already a director? Everything changed. She began to position herself clearly, dress confidently, and conduct difficult conversations without fear. Within a few months, she was promoted. The promotion didn't create the new version of herself, it was the new version that brought the promotion. In health, the dynamic is the same. Marcus, a 50-year-old from Denver, carried the weight of the phrase, "I'm getting old." This label vibrated in every gesture. He avoided exercise, ate poorly, and slept little. When he decided to reverse his identity, he started small. Instead of presenting himself as tired, he began to see himself as a man in the process of getting stronger. He changed the narrative, and his body responded. Today, he runs 3 miles 3 times a week and feels younger than he did at 30. Identity came first, results followed. Relationships also follow this law. Sophie, 37, from Orlando, said she wanted true love, but still saw herself as unworthy. She carried the identity of a reject. When she decided to shift gears, she adopted daily gestures of self-love, cooking for herself with affection, writing gratitude letters to her body, treating herself as she would someone special. This practice shifted her energy. Unsurprisingly, she attracted a partner aligned with her new self. Love didn't appear to fill the void, it appeared because the void no longer existed. The secret is to understand that identity is practice, not theory. You are already the version you desire when you act, feel, and think like that, even before you see external evidence. The quantum field responds to coherence, not waiting. If you want prosperity, act generously now. If you want health, treat your body with respect now. If you seek love, live as someone who is already worthy now. This is the vibrational bridge. But be careful, it's not about pretending or creating a mask. It's about rehearsing, day after day, the internal state of your future self until it becomes natural. At first it feels strange, then it becomes automatic. Each micro-choice, repeated with intention, strengthens the frequency of the new identity. And the longer you sustain this energy, the faster the field collapses the corresponding reality. So reflect, who is the version of you that already lives what you desire? How do you dress? How do you speak? How do you breathe? How do you treat others and yourself? Bring that version into the present. Walk like it, breathe like it, choose like it. Because the moment you become that person, the universe has no choice, it simply confirms what you already are. In the next chapter, we will explore practical techniques for maintaining this vibrational identity even in the face of challenges and setbacks, because it is in moments of instability that the frequency needs to be most protected. Chapter 7: Protecting your frequency on difficult days. It's not difficult to maintain a high vibration when everything is going well. The real test comes when life seems to challenge your new identity. This is where many give up. They believe they've lost all progress because an obstacle has appeared. But here's the truth, it's not the challenge that blocks your manifestation, it's how you react to it. The quantum field reads your consistency, not your perfection. Take Claire, 45, from San Francisco. After months of maintaining the identity of a prosperous woman, she received an unexpected bill that nearly sent her into a panic. Earlier, she would have said, "I knew it was too good to last." This time, she chose a different path. She took a deep breath, told herself, "The prosperous me handles this with confidence," and made practical decisions without despair. The bill was paid, and days later, a new client brought in more than the lost amount. The universe responded to her consistency, not to her initial shock. The same logic applies to health. Peter, 52, from Seattle, was regaining vitality after years of neglect. One day, he woke up tired and in pain. Before, I would have thought, "It's no use, I'll never change." But he remembered the identity he'd been practicing. Instead of giving up, he did just 15 minutes of stretching and drank more water. The next day, he felt better. He realized that one slip-up doesn't define destiny, the response to the slip-up is what maintains the vibration. This also happens in relationships. Hannah, 39, from Miami, was learning to open herself up to love. After a few incredible weeks with a new partner, he canceled a date at the last minute. The old Hannah would have shut down and thought, "I'll always be rejected." But the new version chose to trust. She used her free time for self-care, kept her heart open, and didn't feed the rejection narrative. Days later, her partner explained that he had a genuine problem, and the connection grew stronger. Choosing not to fall into the old pattern was what preserved the frequency. These examples demonstrate something essential: your vibration isn't measured by the absence of challenges, but by how you return to center when they arise. Challenges are inevitable, setbacks happen. What changes the timeline is your ability to quickly recalibrate. Practicing coherence isn't perfection, it's energetic resilience. How to protect your frequency on difficult days. 3 simple steps help. First, breathe before reacting. A long exhalation calms the nervous system and prevents automatic responses. Second, ask yourself, what would the version of me that already lives this reality do? And choose the smallest coherent action. Third, celebrate small victories. Each time you react differently, you reinforce to your subconscious that the new identity is real. Remember, consistency trumps intensity. The universe doesn't expect you to never waver, it expects you to quickly return to your center. Each return strengthens your vibrational identity and shows the field that you are ready to sustain the new reality. In the next chapter, we'll reveal how to expand this coherence beyond the individual, showing how the environment and the people around you can influence and even accelerate the manifestation of your new life. Chapter 8: Environment shapes your vibration. You can practice affirmations, meditation, and gratitude every day, but if your environment vibrates in the opposite direction, the effort becomes much more difficult. We are social and energetic beings. Science has shown that people's electromagnetic fields interact with each other. This means that the space you live in, the people you associate with, and even the objects you keep around you directly influence your frequency. Your environment can reinforce your new vibrational identity or pull you back into old patterns. Take Nathan, a 43-year-old from New Jersey. He was determined to thrive financially, but his home was chaotic, piles of overdue bills scattered across the table, cluttered drawers, and old papers strewn everywhere. Without even realizing it, he was living in a world of clutter and scarcity. When he decided to organize his space, pay bills on time, and create a clean environment, he noticed something curious. His mind became clearer, and clients began to arrive more easily. His physical surroundings reflected the orderly vibe he had begun to foster. The same thing happened to Rachel, 51, from Portland. She wanted to take care of her health, but spent her days surrounded by negative people who were always complaining. Whenever she tried to change her diet or create an exercise routine, the comments were the same: "What's the point if everyone gets sick in the end?" The weight of their words drained her motivation. The turning point came when she decided to join a walking group in the park. By spending time with people who celebrated her every progress, her energy soared. Today, in addition to being healthier, Rachel has discovered friendships that reinforce her vibrational identity. The emotional environment also matters. Jason, 38, from Austin, wanted to build a mature relationship, but he still spent nights reviewing messages from past partners. Without realizing it, he was fueling the field of rejection and the past. When he decided to clean up photos, delete contacts, and create new living spaces, his energy shifted. Soon after, he met someone compatible. The universe responded to this clarity. By letting go of the old, he made room for the new. The quantum field makes no mistakes, it responds to the most consistent signal. If your home, your friendships, and your daily choices vibrate scarcity, criticism, and disorder, that's the dominant frequency. But if you create an environment of clarity, support, and care, the universe returns aligned experiences. It's like planting seeds in fertile soil. Growth happens with less effort because space sustains life. 3 practices help you adjust your environment. First, review your physical spaces, organize, donate, and eliminate objects that carry painful memories. Second, choose wisely the voices you listen to, consume content that reinforces your faith, and walk with people who vibrate trust. Third, create simple rituals at home: a lit candle, calming music, a gratitude chant. These details anchor the energy of your new identity. Ask yourself now, does your current environment reinforce or undermine the life you desire? If the answer is uncomfortable, see it as an opportunity. Adjusting your surroundings is as powerful as changing your inner thoughts. In the next chapter, we'll expand this vision even further, showing how community and collective connection can accelerate manifestations that would take you much longer to achieve alone. Chapter 9: The Power of Collective Energy. If your individual vibration already has the power to shape reality, imagine the impact when several people maintain the same frequency. Science shows that human beings synchronize their heartbeats and brainwaves as a group. Spiritually, this means that we energetically regulate each other. Collective energy can accelerate your manifestation or reinforce old blocks. It all depends on who you walk with. Consider the case of Emily, a 47-year-old from Boston. She had been practicing gratitude on her own, but still felt discouraged. One day, she decided to join weekly group meditation meetings. What had previously seemed difficult, keeping her mind focused and her heart open, became second nature. Simply being surrounded by people who vibrated with hope elevated her energy. Within a few months, Emily reported feeling more clarity at work, more patience with her family, and even signs of financial prosperity. The collective field acted as a catalyst. Something similar happened to Robert, a 50-year-old from Houston. He'd been trying to change his eating habits for years but always gave up. When he joined an online community focused on quantum health, he realized he was no longer alone. The shared stories, daily encouragement, and positive energy of the group helped him sustain new choices. For the first time, he was able to maintain consistency without heroic effort. The group vibrated with vitality, and he tapped into that frequency. In relationships, the dynamic is even more visible. Chloe, 39, from Denver, had always been involved in relationships marked by distrust. When she started participating in women's support circles, something changed. She felt understood, valued, and welcomed. This energy of belonging reprogrammed her internal vibration, and, in a short time, she attracted more aligned partners. It wasn't a coincidence, it was a reflection of the new frequency sustained by the collective. The quantum field responds to coherence, and collective energy amplifies that coherence exponentially. Being surrounded by people who believe in expansion, prosperity, and love strengthens your own signal. It's like rowing a river. Alone, you can move forward, but with the collective current, the journey becomes much faster. 3 simple practices help you harness this power. First, choose communities that vibrate in the direction you desire. Study groups, meditation sessions, even friendships that share the same vision. Second, share your own energy. Celebrating achievements and supporting others reinforces the collective frequency. Third, protect yourself from toxic environments. If you can't avoid them entirely, limit your exposure and strengthen rituals that keep you centered. Ask yourself, with whom have you been sharing your energy? Does your current circle reinforce fear and complaint or confidence and expansion? This answer is crucial, because no individual field can sustain itself for long amidst dissonant frequencies. The good news is that all it takes is a decision to change your connections for the universe to present new people, new spaces, and new opportunities. In the next chapter, we'll bring all these points together: inner alignment, habits, identity, and collective energy, to show you how to transform manifestation into an ongoing lifestyle, not just in isolated moments. Chapter 10: Turning Manifestation into a Lifestyle. So far, you've seen that wishing isn't enough. You need to align your mind, body, and heart. You've also seen that habits shape your energy, that the subconscious silently influences, and that your environment and connections reinforce your vibration. Now we've reached the final point of this journey. Manifestation ceases to be a one-off effort and becomes a lifestyle. When this happens, you no longer depend on occasional rituals or bursts of motivation. You begin to live in a state of conscious creation, day after day. Consider Laura, a 49-year-old from Chicago. Previously, she used the law of attraction as an emergency resource. She meditated only when she was in crisis. Today, every choice is part of a natural flow. In the morning, she writes down 3 gratitudes. At work, she breathes before responding to difficult emails. At night, she reviews small victories. These aren't grand rituals, but a life structured in coherence. The result? Financial peace, stable health, and fulfilling relationships. Manifestation has become a way of life. When it comes to health, David, 53, from San Diego, has transformed identity into daily practice. Instead of expecting external results, he now lives like a healthy version. He chooses foods consciously, moves his body respectfully, and sleeps with discipline. He doesn't force anything, he cultivates consistency. The body responds not because it asks for health, but because it vibrates health in daily life. In relationships, Megan, 38, from New York, stopped desperately searching for a partner. She learned to treat herself as someone already loved. She scheduled dates, cultivated hobbies, and celebrated personal achievements. This way of living created a frequency of completeness. Her partner arrived, but not as salvation, he arrived as a complement to an already full life. This is what defines the manifestation lifestyle. It's not about chasing, but about living in a continuous state of coherence. Every gesture, every word, every thought is a seed. Life doesn't change all at once, but changes every day. When you choose consistency over fleeting intensity, the universe understands that you are ready to sustain what you ask for. To fully integrate, practice 2 keys. First, intentional presence. 3 times a day, stop for a minute and ask, what frequency am I transmitting right now? This pause alone repositions your energy. Second, coherent action. Ask yourself, what would the version of me that already lives what I desire do? Take a small, but faithful step toward the answer. This turns theory into practice. Manifesting as a lifestyle isn't about perfection, it's about quick returns. You'll waver, feel fear, and have setbacks. But each time you return to center, your frequency strengthens. You stop being someone who tries to manifest and become someone who lives in a state of manifestation. Abundance, love, and health become a natural consequence, not a constant effort. So reflect, what would your life be like if every detail were treated as an opportunity to align your vibration? If every choice were a reminder of who you already are in essence? This question opens the door to the conclusion of our journey. In the next and final section, we'll bring together all the pieces: inner alignment, subconscious, heart, habits, and collective energy to show you how you can definitively sustain this new lifestyle. We've reached the end of this journey, and I want you to take away a simple, powerful truth: you manifest what is, not what you desire. No matter how many affirmations you repeat, how many vision boards you create, or how many techniques you try, if your vibrational identity remains stuck in fear, scarcity, or insecurity, that's what the universe will reflect. Change begins when you decide to live now as the version of yourself that already has prosperity, health, and love. Each chapter of this series presents a piece of this puzzle, aligning mind, body, and heart, reprogramming the subconscious, cultivating consistent habits, protecting your frequency on difficult days, choosing environments and connections that sustain your vibration, and, finally, transforming manifestation into a lifestyle. All of this converges to the same key: the universe does not respond to effort. It responds to frequency. And if you're here until the end, that already says a lot about you. People with a wealth mindset seek this kind of knowledge because they already feel, deep down, that they are prosperous. By subscribing to this channel, you reaffirm that you are part of those who believe in abundance, who understand that the universe is not scarce, but overflowing with possibilities. It's a simple gesture, but loaded with intention. It shows the field that you are ready to receive more. Now I want to hear from you. Comment here which of these ideas you'll apply today. Only then will the universe understand that you're ready to receive. And don't stop here, also watch the suggested content below, as it will delve even deeper into this journey of transformation. Thank you for being here. See you in the next video. See you soon.